So Deadstream got itself a Steelbook exclusive from Walmart. So we had to go pick it up. So welcome to Found Footage Friday.
Sorry, it's so late.
I couldn't help, but yeah, that's Kaylee's fault, as it always is. So there you go. Deadstream.
Ta-da!
Figured this is the perfect time to talk about it.
Yeah.
The new Blu-ray is out.
Yes.
And, how'd you think the Blu-ray looked?
Looked great. I mean, I didn't think it was like an ugly looking film before, though.
Sure.
So, I feel like with new films, when there's like a Blu-ray release, I don't know. I sometimes, like with very, very new films, I sometimes can't tell the difference. But I can tell the difference when they're older films that have like a Blu-ray release. So.
Okay. So let's get into it. Now, we have done a spoiler-free discussion on this, but never a spoiler discussion on this. So this time, we can talk about whatever we want. All right, so we got Sean, and Sean is a bit of an idiot. And he loses all of his followers, which we find out that he fought a homeless man who was black. And this homeless man was like sick and got really hurt.
Yeah.
And he thought because the guy was like much bigger than him and all that he was gonna it was gonna be funny because he was like, I don't know what, we don't really ever get to see it.
He didn't think he was gonna like win, basically.
Sure.
So yeah, we don't see it. We just hear it.
His whole channel is about like facing his fears and doing stupid things. Like, for instance, in Jackass, Ryan Dunn fights a girl, right? And they go and they find this girl who's like a freaking world-class kickboxer. And she just beats the shit out of him. Now, if Ryan Dunn, landed a hit on her and knocked her out, and then we found out she had cancer or something, like, would they get canceled? I mean, obviously, back when Jackass was out, no one was canceling anybody because not everybody was a pussy like they are now. But this is just, I don't know, like, I think back about that, and I'm like, yeah, people got hurt on Jackass all the time, but it was like people who were in on it. But if they accidentally hurt someone that they were doing a stunt with, who was just, but I don't know, she's in on it with them. I don't know. That we don't get to see what Sean does, so we don't really get to have the context on if Sean is guilty or not for what he's doing. He's just, he's just an idiot. He doesn't this is like that guy that who says the wrong words or whatever, like for today's standards, and it's like he doesn't mean any ill intent. He's just very naive to the ways of the world now. Like when me and my friends were kids, like when we were like 15 and 16, everyone was a fag, everyone was a retard, everything was gay, and we just used those words very lackadaisically, just like threw them out there like they were no big deal. And like nowadays, obviously, they're super frowned upon, and it's like, I don't mean anything by it. Right, but like if you're not of the times, or if you're not like thinking about things correctly these days, people want to get all over your case.
But he's that guy that like maybe doesn't know what he's doing is considered inappropriate.
I agree.
But he's also the guy that wants to do anything for attention.
100%.
And so like, because that's this whole movie is him trying to like capitalize on his comeback and apology. Even though this isn't like his apology video or anything, but it's like him trying to reinvent himself and like I've turned over a new leaf and like now I'm gonna do, which is fine. Like people are totally allowed to do that, of course. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but he's just very attention seeking, which is just funny.
Like his true colors come out in this though, because he outright says somewhere along the way, you know what, I did nothing wrong and I'm not sorry.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Once his like feet are held to the fire enough, and he's scared enough, and he's not really thinking straight anymore, his reality comes to to the forefront, and he's just like, listen, I'm not sorry. I don't think I did anything wrong. And I think that I actually prefer because he's being honest. Right? The apology that he gives is like, and I love how the apology is done in this, to where he's like, I gave an apology, so I'm free of all my sins. And he does like this video where he's like ducking it and all this stuff. I thought that was really funny and really clever. And it is so something that this character would do.
Yes.
But like, I'm always the guy that's like, we've talked about this in the past. Like, I would much rather talk to the Ku Klux Klan member who's like, I hate black people, I want them all eradicated, versus the guy who like is the wolf in sheep's clothing, who plays along and is like, no, I'm not transphobic. I just don't think trans people should have any rights. I just don't think they should exist. But I'm not transphobic. I'm like totally down with the LGBT community because I kissed a guy once.
Oh my God.
When I was in college. Like, I'm totally cool with the gays. Like, those kinds of people are so much worse to me. It's the people who try to grandstand, who try to virtue signal, who try to pretend that they're one of your clan or one of your crew, right? When they are in another clan, right? It's like, just admit you're a fucking Nazi. Just admit that you're a conservative prick who thinks that people that aren't created equal. Just fucking admit it. Just be honest. I will respect you more for being honest. I'm still not going to like you because we obviously are like diametrically opposed in our ideologies, but be fucking honest. And when Sean breaks down, he's like, you know what? I didn't do anything wrong and I'm not sorry. I'm like, yes, I like that more. I would rather him come back and be like, because he comes back and apologizes because he thinks it's what he has to do to get his following back. But when push comes to shove and the shit really hits the fan, his true colors come out and he does the thing that I would respect more, being like, listen, I did what I did and I wouldn't have done it if I thought it was wrong. And if you guys don't think that's okay, you can fuck off. But he doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to lose his subscriber base. So he cucks to, you know, the lynch mob. And is like, oh, please take me back. And it's like, I don't want you back. I've said things on the channel before that people have gotten really pissed off about, and I refuse to back down from them when I don't think I did something wrong or if I stand by my comment.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking, even if we lost every subscriber we had because I said something or you said something, if I genuinely didn't think I did anything wrong, I would straight up be like, fine, fuck this. I'm not doing the channel anymore. If you guys are all going to leave, then there's no point in doing the channel anymore. But I ain't fucking apologizing to get you back because I didn't do anything wrong. Right? So I like that Sean eventually breaks down and is like, fuck you guys. I didn't do anything wrong. We don't have context to be able to, you know, give our opinion on what we think is right and wrong on this situation. But if a homeless guy like signed up for it, I don't know. It depends. Remember, I don't know if you remember this, but back in like the 90s, I want to say, there was something called like bum fights.
Yeah, that's
where they
what
would
I
like
was thinking about.
pay people to fight that were bums. Awful.
That's not okay.
Awful. That being said, I don't know. Like, it's weird because it is different for sure. But it is one of these things where like we let boxers beat the shit out of each other for money, right? They're professionally trained, right? And they're of sane mind. And I think with the homeless people, a lot of it's desperation, although a lot of boxers become boxers out of desperation because they're in bad situations and they want to make money and they allow themselves to be beaten to a pulp just for a paycheck, right? If you've ever watched like Warrior, or if you've ever watched freaking The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke or whatever, these guys beat the fuck out of themselves for a paycheck.
Yeah, I do think it's different though because it is like,
I'm not saying it's not different. It is somewhat different, but I'm still saying both are bad.
They are. I mean, yeah, they are both kind of bad in their own way, but with like the homeless person, like paying them, it's kind of like they are so desperate though.
Yeah,
like they don't have anything. It's not like they can just go out and get whatever else. Like, so it's a manipulative thing to do.
If I remember correctly though, too, in the bum fights, I never watched one, and that's honest. I would tell you if I did. I never actually saw one. I never had any interest. I thought it was fucking awful when I heard about it. And I think they were coming out when I was like 15, 14, somewhere in that area. If I remember correctly, they were like giving them like weapons, and
That's
then they were like
awful.
also like making them eat glass
Oh
and
my
shit,
god,
and like
that's evil.
that's fucking beyond evil. And
That's so evil. That's like, hey, you'll do anything for money. Eat some glass. Like, those are human beings.
But this, I mean, this is, of course, I mean, I don't want to get too into this, but this is very indicative of just our society and how it's set up, right? How we're us like poorer people
Sure.
will do anything. Like we watch game shows and we watch all these things where people will like humiliate themselves or
yeah,
like
this is like Squid Games.
Yeah, sure. Squid Games, of course, is like to the nth degree, but like
Yeah.
we will put ourselves out there, and it's like, oh, you want some of what we have, and it's like the millionaires up in the viewing room being like, oh, you want a little bit of like my change? Like, will you kill yourself for it? Will you cut off an arm for it? It's like, it's such a disgusting idea of like people being so wealthy, and then the people below them they just use as like frivolous entertainment.
Yeah, like their toys. And ultimately Sean is kind of doing the same thing, right? Like he's begging for attention so that he can get sponsorships and money and all of that.
Right, because ultimately he wants money.
Yes.
But he also wants attention. But
yeah, he wants both.
He does want both.
He definitely is an attention whore.
But I mean, a lot of us are driven by, monetary desire.
Of course, because you can't, like, you literally cannot exist without money.
I mean, you can, but it's
not.
It's a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, yeah.
So, anyways, moving on from that. But one thing I definitely like about Sean is like, he very much feels like an influencer that's on some of these channels that we've seen where he's just obviously kind of like an idiot who is just super attention seeking, and all that stuff feels very genuine to me.
It does to me too. I mean, that was like when we first watched this, that was like one of the standout things, is just how natural he feels, especially because like we always talk with found footage, like if it feels authentic, is it believable? And I think this is 100% believable. Like you could go on YouTube or Twitch or whatever and find somebody like him, like easily. And yeah, super authentic.
So Joseph Winter directed this as well as starred in it alongside of someone else with his last name, a woman. Wife
is what we think.
Sister?
But we're unsure.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's a wife.
I haven't looked it up to confirm, so if anyone knows, let us know. Yeah. But I think that he is genuinely very funny. Like in this film, I think he is like perfect for this. Some people will cast themselves in their own movies or whatever, and it does not work out. But he has really great timing and really great presence. And for a film like this, he's carrying 90% of this film by himself until Chrissy shows up.
Chrissy.
So, and Chrissy's great too.
Yes.
Very pretty, very fun. She actually reminds me of, oh God, the girl from, I want to say it's like Scary Movie 2. I can't remember. I'm not even going to try, but not the main, not Anna Faris, somebody else. It doesn't matter. But she's really good. And those are really your only two characters in the movie. You do have like the cop or whatever for like a second, and like, and then there's like these like little cameos from people sending in their little videos.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really smart and clever way to like break up the time with Sean, and give a different perspective from people who aren't there but are there. It was a really smart way to get it up on the screen. Live streams, you cannot share videos or photos. So this is pure nonsense.
Yeah, this is imaginary.
Maybe there is some way to do that.
I don't know.
But
Can you
I've
do that
never
on
seen it.
Twitch?
Because
Yeah,
people would be sending pictures of like their dick and people.
I
And
mean, there's got to be like filters if that exists, obviously, that like prohibit it. But I've never seen that unless it is something on Twitch, and I don't watch Twitch streamers.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I don't know.
I don't think you can send
it is a
pictures
very
and videos.
clever way to introduce other characters and change things up a little as far as the viewing goes. And I really liked that. I think that they're all like, especially like the old woman that's like who originally like had the hand or whatever in there.
Yeah.
Like drew the paper.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
When she's like, oh,
She's
the
like,
hand's
he's
gone.
gonna die. Like,
oh,
he's fucked.
Yeah. Oh, he's dead.
There's so many. I mean, that was like when we first saw this. This is like it really is very comparable to Evil Dead, where it has like so much good humor in it. Like
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2, I guess specifically, really not Evil Dead. But Evil Dead 2 like is such a funny film in a lot of ways, but it's also scary. And this film, it's the same thing. Like there is multiple, like the thing that comes to mind immediately when I'm talking about this is when he's in the car and there's that freaking creature that's coming after him.
Yeah.
It looks so scary and terrifying.
Yeah.
And then it was so funny because he like impales it and it's sliding down on the pole and he's like, like going away from it. So funny. It's just like perfect timing.
It really does a great job of not only marrying the two genres together, but transitioning between the two seamlessly. That, I think, was the most impressive feat of this film when I first watched it, was just like how it could be scary and funny. And it could be like one, then the other, then both,
right?
Then back to one, then back, then to the other, then both.
Yeah.
Right? So like that is so hard to pull off. Blending horror and comedy is tough enough. But making a scene purely funny, then switching to a scene that's actually kind of scary, then injecting some humor into it and making it a blend at the same time, and then switching back to comedy, then back to horror, then back to horror comedy at the same time, and it never feeling like it's unbalanced.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, this is just getting too silly now, or this is just like, okay, it's too fucked up to be funny now. Where you lose the silliness, where it gets too out of whack and you're sitting back going, okay, this is okay, now it's too dark for me to get back to a place where I can laugh, right?
Yeah.
They've done such an amazing juggling act here. It really is such an impressive feature, right? I mean, and they did the same with their VHS segment as well. Very, very good. But this is the better of the two because they have more time to shine.
Absolutely.
They do better with a longer format because they're just so talented that you want the more the better.
Yeah,
with these guys. So, and the film is wonderfully paced.
Yes.
The film has no lags, no moments of like, okay, let's speed through this. Like, it's so rewatchable.
Very rewatchable. Like even the informational stuff, like when you're, learning about the house and whatever, like all of that fits in very nicely with the timing. Because a lot of times in films, like when you're getting the backstory of something, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. Like I know what's going on here, or like I don't care.
No,
but that's not the case in this at all.
His backstory is really fun too. Like when you're learning who he is, what happened, and how he's trying to get it back. All of that is super entertaining.
Yes.
Very well told, so you know exactly what's going on. It feels authentic to the world that it's set in. Sean is established very well in the opening. And I don't know, man, it's such an impressive film.
Yes.
Do you think Sean is an homage to Shaun of the Dead because he's Sean with the dead in this?
Yeah, I wondered if that was it.
It's spelled differently, I think.
I think so too, but
it is spelled differently.
Maybe it's an homage. I mean, I love Shaun of the Dead. Like, I think that's a really great another really great horror comedy.
Yeah.
So if it is an homage, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he offers Chrissy a drink, she doesn't take it because she's dead.
She don't need it.
I noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another interesting thing about modern film is with the social media aspects like this, doing like all the comments on
I
screen and
know.
the comments having to kind of line up, and
Mm-hmm.
this is like, that's another thing that becomes rewatchable because there is a lot of comments and you're not going to get them all in your first viewing.
Yeah.
You got to really like sit there and stare at them, and every one of them of course is like on purpose.
Right.
And there's a lot of good things going on in there because there's like the trolls
Mm-hmm.
who are super annoying, and they just say the obvious thing trolls would say.
Yeah.
Right. And then you've got other people who are like trying to be and helpful and informative and
supportive.
supportive.
Yeah.
And I really like the blend
of everything. Yeah. Very realistic to how like online communities can be, and especially with like a big like YouTuber or whatever, like they always get such a huge mix of like the fans that love them and the people that just like fucking hate them and are just like
and hate everyone, including themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the sad for them, I guess. But yeah, I think on this rewatch, I unfortunately didn't get to pick up on as many as the comments as I wanted to. So I'll look forward to watching it again in the future, of course, and reading all of those. But
I want to know where the hell they filmed this.
I do too. It's such a rad location. Like, it's a scary house. Like,
it's a scary house in the sense of like, if the house really looks like that in real life, like that's a dangerous house to film in.
It looks so dangerous. I mean, just the outside, like the exterior shots of it, I'm like, dude, no, that's freaky.
Yeah, you're gonna get like a rusty nail through the foot, get tetanus. You're gonna get lockjaw. You're freaking no, and you're gonna have like rats in there and stuff that could bite you and give you kind of shit. You could fall through floorboards. You could.
Yeah, I'm super curious what the deal is with the filming location, like how and where.
Because this is low budget, so it's not like, it's not like they had some big budget that they could make a house like this. I think the same thing when I watch like Blair Witch.
Sure.
And I'm like, you went down in that basement in the dark where there's like spiders and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Hell no, I ain't going down there. So I don't know, man. Where'd you guys film this? There's the so when you find a hidden basement and there's remnants of crime scene tape,
time to leave.
It's time. I'm not going down there.
Yeah.
I'm not going down there. And people are calling Sean a pussy and this and that.
Oh my god, I know.
Everyone would be a pussy in this scenario.
Absolutely.
It's not even being a pussy, you're just being intelligent. I am not going down into the basement where crime scene tape is present in a house that has already shown itself to be haunted. This is not happening.
It's so funny too because like I think in that situation, like you're watching somebody on a live stream like in a scary environment, you're like, oh, like it's not scary, like I'm there with you, and like I'm not really there though. But for the person, like for him, it does not matter. I feel like it doesn't matter that there's people talking to him like on the internet, because it's just like he's still by himself there.
So, question. What was his plan once the night's over? Because I don't understand this. Takes spark plugs out of his car, throws them into the woods. And he really does this stuff. This isn't just like some, publicity stunt where he has like a car over here that works and everything and he's lying to his audience. He really does throw the spark plug. Then he goes and locks the door and literally disposes of the key.
I don't know what his plan was.
How is he going to get out of the house, and how is he going to get in his car and get out of there? This is where I'm like, he's an idiot.
Yeah. But that's, I agree. I think that he's like so dumb in that situation. That
he should have had like, my friends are coming to pick me up in the morning. They have the other key. Right? Something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Or like my mom.
My mom would work for him. That would be funny.
My mom's going to be here at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Kind of like in, kind of like in Grave Encounters, right? In Grave Encounters, Lance Preston and his crew lock themselves in, and then the caregiver, the groundskeeper, security guard, or whatever the hell he is like, I'll be back in the morning to let you out.
Yeah.
But just for him to go out there by himself to take the spark plugs out of his car and throw them in the woods and then lock himself in the house,
See,
it's like, what was your plan once the night's over?
I don't think
or
that
if something
was
goes wrong.
like part of the plan, because I think he's reactive. I think he's just like, what's going to get me the most views? What's going to get me the most attention? I'm going to be super dramatic and over the top and like take my spark plugs out and throw them. I feel like that's more his thought process, not like
he's the guy who does things reactively and then regrets it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely his character, so that's a good guess. Yeah. The fingernail up the nose, and then he has to like yank it out.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
I mean, that's
so gross.
That kind of stuff, like, he really had to do that. He really had to have that thing stuck up into his nose, and then he had to like dig it out, and he had the nail go into his nose. So that couldn't have felt good.
Nope, I imagine not.
So that he committed to that one for sure. Unless that's like the best CGI I've ever seen, but I don't think so. Him jumping out the window looks so funny and is like such a gnarly stunt.
It really is.
Because the way he hits the ground is pretty gnarly. Like, I'm like, did a stunt person do that? Because he hits weird.
He does hit weird.
Yeah.
It looks like a rough landing.
Yeah.
It
doesn't look on purpose.
No, it doesn't, but it like adds to the
like the realism.
It makes it feel very real.
Yeah. Did the stunt person get hurt in that? Because that did not look right. It looked like he bounced wrong.
It did look like he bounced wrong.
And all the duct tape in this movie, pretty funny. And probably my favorite line, and I feel like that should be the tagline for this movie, is "Let's demonetize this bitch."
So good.
That's such a brilliant line.
So good, yeah.
Right? As she loses her followers, right? She'll lose her power or whatever, and she's a demon. He's gonna demonetize her. That's some great play on words. That's so smart, so clever, so funny, and of course, so true to him.
Yes.
And his character, right?
Exactly.
Like, all he cares about is demonetization, like he got. And then he thinks, like, in his mind, like, that's the worst thing that could ever happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's going to defeat a demon. And it's a play on words. Demonetize. That's hard to say with demon it.
I love that he's like going to sell his soul to have more followers. Like that.
He would.
He would.
Yeah. And he dedicates his live stream to all the blacks, Mexicans, and like that is like the perfect scene, because this just shows you how out of touch he is.
He's so insensitive.
He doesn't think of it. That's why I couldn't blame the guy. I just be like, okay, come on, guys. Like, he's clearly not trying to be an asshole. He's just an asshole accidentally.
An accidental asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, oh my gosh. It reminds me of like how boomers talk.
Sure.
Like when they're like, what's that guy look like? Like, I don't know.
My dad's like this. My dad says shit all the time that I'm like, dude.
Like the people that are still like, they use Oriental to describe like Asian people.
Sure.
And like, yeah. It's funny though. It is really funny, and it is like a perfect scene for him because he's like saying it to be like nice.
My dad is like the least mean, least racist, least anything. But he says shit all the time that I'm like, dude, if someone was around with a camera and caught you saying that, your salon would probably go under, because you would probably be canceled and everyone would be like protesting against you. And it's like, he doesn't mean it in the way that you think he means it. It's not at all what he's saying.
Context is important.
100%.
Sure.
Not only context, but like how people, and this is context, but like how people were raised, what environment they were raised in, what time period they were raised in, all their experiences, like that all matters. Context, it doesn't give you right to be an asshole. But my dad is never an asshole. Ever. He just says things that some people would think are asshole, and I do all the time. But I'm I'm aware that I'm being an asshole. I just don't care. He's way nicer than me.
Yeah.
He never means
He's
to
a
hurt anybody
sweetheart.
with what he says. But he
Never.
definitely says things that I'm like, bro, you can't say that kind of stuff today. But I don't care because I'm not a pussy. But I would just be like, I just sit back and like, Dad, oh my God, please don't say that to anyone. Please. And he's like, what? And I'm like, just no. Just stop. Just stop. I only say that because I personally could give a shit. He can say whatever he wants. But I'm like,
You know,
I don't want
other
you to get in
people
trouble.
Could interpret
Yes.
it. Yeah.
I don't want you to get hammered by people who are being sensitive. That is, and you won't be able to handle it like I will. Like,
No.
I'll be like, fuck you. You don't like how I say things? Get bent. But my dad would be like, what do you mean? Like, he'd be like a deer in headlights. He'd be like, I don't know. What do you mean?
Oh my God, it hurts my heart like thinking about it.
Yeah. So my dad kind of reminds me of Sean, but like
in the like simple. I was gonna call him a simpleton. He's not a simpleton.
He's not a simpleton.
He's just
he is a simple man.
Simple.
Yes, and not in a bad way. He's not an idiot.
Not at all.
He's just
one of these days your dad's gonna like watch
simple.
our reviews and be like, "Why do you call me a simple man?" And every time you talk about me,
I don't think that's a negative. I think it keeps him way happier than it keeps me. I am not a simple man, and I'm miserable because of it.
Yeah.
He rarely thinks about things deeper at all.
He just enjoys life.
Yes. And if that's stupidity, then I am wanting some of that.
Yeah.
I want to be an idiot. Ignorance is bliss. And my dad is just someone who's very like basic. He is like, he takes everything at face value.
Yeah.
He does not think about things deeply at all. Like, if I ask him questions,
yeah,
and I'm like, Dad, what do you think about, like, you know, I start talking to him about space or like life after death or like, yeah, like interdimensional, this and that. He's like glazed. What the fuck are you talking about? Why do you ever think of that nonsense?
It's like, why are you thinking?
He just does not do that stuff.
It's crazy.
Maybe because he did a lot of drugs in the 70s, and he's like, I got that shit out of my system. I saw.
It's like, I went there.
He's like, I tasted colors.
I don't need to think about that anymore.
I know what a rainbow tastes like. Okay, I've been through the fucking black hole.
Been to life after death.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to my voice.
He's like the dude in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
100% turns into that big baby.
I didn't mean that. I meant like when he comes out in 2010. The next movie. It's fine. He's a big baby. Moving on. But I think it's relevant to what we're talking about, so we're going to move on from that. I just don't think that Sean means what he's... I don't think he means ill intent. I just think that he's a very naive, attention-seeking person. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the dude, when I remember it the first time really getting me, and that is when, I don't remember exactly what the line is, but someone says something to Sean that he disagrees with, and he just screams opposite. That line might be the funniest line in the whole movie to me. Like, they're like, Sean, you want to do this, and he's like, opposite. His rebuttal is the best thing ever. It's like
a 15-year-old boy with ADHD.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
Opposite is my favorite line in the entire film. I don't know why that hits me so good.
You know what his sense of timing and like his comedy and stuff, it reminds me of Ryan Reynolds. That's who it reminds me of.
Yeah,
like,
I thought that the first time.
Very, like, it's charming.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds usually plays, I think, more like asshole characters in general. And Sean is an asshole in some ways, but he doesn't mean to be one, like we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I actually thought of Ryan Reynolds the first time we watched this. So I'm glad you brought it up. The kid with the conjoined demon twin.
Dude, what? So that's the other thing. I think we talked about this obviously in our spoiler-free discussion, but like the makeup and the effects on the creatures is so cool.
Yes.
We like so rarely get a film where you have so many different types of monsters.
A variety.
Yeah. And this film, there is that. There's so many of them, and they all look really cool and really freaky.
Yeah.
And they're used perfectly in the film.
There's like that tall, slender one.
Yeah,
there's
what
the bloated dead body in the bathtub.
Oh my god, yeah.
And this film also does something that I'm a big fan of, and I know some people don't like it, and Kaylee can get really squeamish about it, but this movie is just an absolute, like, gross out, fiesta.
It definitely goes for gross out for sure.
Yeah.
When he eats the eyeball out of the tub, no, so gnarly.
Yeah, this is that movie where like people are like vomiting shit into people's faces and their mouths. And,
oh my god!
Things are going up their nose.
Yeah.
And like they're eating things that they shouldn't be, and like a bunch of gross shit is being splashed into their mouths and their faces, and they're like pouring crap into their eyeballs, and I love it. I love it. I love the really disgusting gags. I'm a big fan of that stuff. Yeah, if I ever have to do a ritual where I have to like cut something off, it ain't my index finger.
Not at all.
It ain't my dick, that's for sure.
It's not that either.
It's like my pinky toe.
It's like my earlobe.
Ooh, an earlobe's a good one.
You don't need
that
an earlobe.
That thing is fucking useless, bro.
It just hangs there.
That is useless.
Dude,
unless you will like earrings.
Who cares?
I don't know. Do you think like this screws with your vestibular system at all?
I don't even know what vestibular means.
It's what like gives you balance and hearing.
I don't know. People lose ears. What about Van Gogh? He walked around after. He cut his whole ear off.
Yeah, but where did Van go after that?
He killed himself.
Okay.
But I think you could cut off an earlobe and be fine. That would be my go-to thing to cut off. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe like the tip of my pinky.
No.
It doesn't have to be the whole thing. What else would you cut off?
My hair.
That's a good one.
Like, come on, demon. Accept it.
Accept it. It's part of me.
Accept it.
That's a good idea.
Toenails.
Ooh.
Yeah,
toenails,
fingernails. Hair from like my nose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That hurts.
Beard hair.
There's like a little
pubes.
If you pull a hair out,
right,
there is skin on it.
I know.
Right? Does that skin count?
Should count.
Yeah. I'm gonna and be like, there you go, sacrifice. And be like, this idiot cut his whole fucking finger off. Why didn't you think of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Deadstream. Got great. I think we talked a lot. And I think it's time to move on. But wonderful movie. Film. I know Joseph and company, especially Joseph, he watched our last review. I'm hoping he'll watch this.
Yeah.
He actually just followed me on Instagram this week and commented on one of my recent posts when I posted about my thing. He was like, "Hey, it's you." That's what he commented. And I think that he means like that was the review that we gave very positively. So shout out to Joseph. And once again, we're trying to get you on a live stream.
Love to talk with you.
Just 5 minutes.
Yes.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Talk to us about the film.
Just come on back. Hey, and then
what you want to make. Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Whatever.
So I would love to have you on the channel. If not, don't feel pressured. Feel pressure. Feel pressure. And then blow it out your nose like the Meg.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Anyways. All right, guys. That's that. Wonderful film. If you haven't seen it for some reason, you gotta watch it.
Go watch it right now.
Yep. And after everything we said in this, we're probably gonna demonetize this bitch.
Yeah.
This channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what can you do? All right, guys. Adios.
Bye.